They are taking this raw, grassroots creative hustle and packaging it into a highly professional, visionary corporate strategy.
Well, what stands out immediately is how they frame the event itself.
Yeah, the reframe is wild.
It really is. The pitch explicitly tells Safaricom they aren't just funding a one-night stage for 400 people at Garvey's restaurant on August 21st.
Right.
Instead, they call it a high-impact content engine.
Which is just a massive shift in perspective. They drop this incredible opening line in the voiceover script. It goes, talent is everywhere in Kenya, but opportunity is what transforms a local talent into a global icon.
Yeah, that line is so strong. By framing it that way, they completely shift the focus away from the physical room to the digital output.
It's almost like pitching a tech startup or maybe a media production studio rather than just asking for a traditional arts grant.
That's a great analogy, actually. They position themselves exactly like a modern media production studio.
Right.
The actual dance competition is really just the production set.
Right. So the live 400-person event, the sweaty dance battles, that 20,000 shilling prize pool, that's basically just the crude oil.
Exactly.
It's raw and valuable, but Unity is refining that energy into weeks of high-octane digital content to power a massive Safaricom campaign.
Precisely. But, setting up a production studio is really only half the battle here.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you're building a content engine targeting 16 to 35-year-old digital natives, who actually drives the distribution?
Well, they are incredibly deliberate about this. They aren't going after massive mainstream celebrities to just blast this out.
Which is usually the go-to corporate move.
Right. But instead, they're utilizing a curated network of micro-influencers across TikTok and YouTube. We're talking about creators like at Queen of Facial Expression and at Linda Jareen.
Wait, but corporate sponsors usually love the safety of a huge celebrity. Why would conservative executives at a giant telecom take a risk on a 16-year-old TikToker's dance battle over, like, a mainstream star?
Because the pitch argues that you can't just buy Gen Z's attention anymore. Like, you actually have to earn their trust.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, young audiences filter out corporate noise instantly, but they do listen to their peers. A micro-influencer provides this authentic, peer-driven multiplier effect that a massive billboard simply can't match.
That makes you wonder, does this pitch signal the end of traditional celebrity endorsements for Gen Z audiences? Like, do corporate giants like Safaricom now absolutely need these grassroots creators just to remain culturally relevant?
I really think it shows that relevance now lives in the niches. If a brand wants real engagement today, they have to integrate at the community level. They can't just shout from the top down.
Right. That peer-driven trust is great for the culture, but, Safaricom isn't a charity.
No, definitely not.
They need a real return on investment. Are these micro-influencers actually moving the needle for a telecom giant?
Well, Unity clearly thinks so, and they structure the ROI brilliantly. Think about your own corporate pitches. You usually lead with numbers, right?
Yeah, almost always.
But Unity leads with the cultural thesis, and then they back it up by offering 3 distinct partnership tiers: presenting, strategic, and community.
Wait, so they aren't just selling a one-off event. They are guaranteeing over 50 professionally produced assets across an 8 to 12-week campaign?
Exactly. They're essentially acting as Safaricom's ad agency.
That is wild.
And if you ever need to pitch an idea, take notes on this part. They offer deep integration that aligns directly with the stakeholders' 2026 business objectives.
Like what kind of integration?
Things like QR code engagements and co-branded digital stories, they move way beyond just, slapping a logo on a backdrop.
Let me push back on that for a second, though. How does slapping a corporate QR code at a raw street dance not feel like a complete sellout move?
It's all about the mechanism behind it. If a giant telecom logo is just sitting there on a banner, yeah, it feels intrusive.
Right.
But if that QR code is linked directly to tipping the local dancers or, like, voting for the winner of the battle, Safaricom suddenly becomes an enabler of the culture, not an intruder.
Oh, wow. The technology just becomes a utility for the community.
Exactly. It proves you don't have to sacrifice cultural authenticity to achieve corporate scale.
Ah, that is so clever. So they figured out how to bottle the sweat and noise of a tiny room and broadcast it to hundreds of thousands of people, all while making the sponsor look like a hero.
It's a brilliant strategy.
It really is a beautiful connection between Kenya's offline physical energy and a massive online scalability. And, that leaves you with a fascinating question to ponder.
Oh, for sure.
If local art collectives are now operating with the Well, the data-driven precision and strategic packaging of top-tier digital marketing agencies will traditional corporate ad agencies eventually become obsolete in the creative economy.
Imagine renting a billboard in Nairobi for just a single day. You pay for it, people walk by, and poof, it's gone.
Right, just completely gone.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this. Today in our deep dive, we were looking at a sponsorship pitch deck that completely flips that old model on its head. We have the Unity Art Collective's proposal for the Unity Dance Competition 2026. And since you, the Safaricom executive team, are evaluating this right now, our mission today is to decode the actual mechanisms behind the offer.
The contrast to a traditional billboard is really the crucial piece here. I mean, Unity is pitching what they call a continuous content engine. The proposal outlines a strategy targeting the 16 to 35 youth demographic, noting that roughly 65% of this audience is based in Nairobi. And what's fascinating here is how they are choosing to reach them.
Yeah, they're not going for the usual suspect.
Exactly. The deck completely ignores massive, expensive celebrity endorsements. Instead, the mechanism relies on a decentralized network of, highly engaged micro-influencers, people like Ashley Tutias, to generate genuine, peer-driven trust.
Okay, I understand the theory of micro-influencers,
Yeah.
but let's look at the actual math in this proposal for a second.
Sure.
If I'm sitting at Safaricom, looking at the top-tier sponsorship, it requires a KES 2.5 million in initial investment. I have to push back a bit on whether that level of funding is truly justified for a live event that only expects, 400 attendees at Garvey's restaurant?
It sounds small on paper.
Right. That is a microscopic physical footprint for that kind of price tag.
Well, if you evaluate those 400 attendees as a standard live audience, then yes, the return on investment absolutely falls short. But the proposal frames August 21st at Garvey's restaurant entirely differently.
Oh, so.
Basically, those 400 people are effectively just a studio audience. The physical event is merely a catalyst, to fuel an 8 to 12-week digital campaign. The mechanics work by turning that one single night into over 50 professional digital assets.
Oh, wow. 50 assets from one night.
Yeah, including a flagship competition film that's projected to hit up to 50,000 views.
Okay, so the real estate Safaricom is buying is actually digital, not physical.
It's digital, yeah, but more importantly, it's about how that real estate is distributed. Unity doesn't just post those 50 assets on a single corporate webpage and call it a day.
Right.
They deploy them through that network of micro-influencers we mentioned. The content floods dozens of trusted peer-level accounts simultaneously, aiming for a targeted reach of 320,000 unique digital accounts. It's a holistic ecosystem.
That is a huge jump from 400 people in a room.
Exactly. And that ecosystem also structurally integrates their ongoing community initiatives.
Right.
It directly aligns partners with tangible impacts like the education programming at Lavington Girls High School and the 489 trees planted through the Green Canopy project.
So what does this all mean for you, the executives? Let's look at the actual packages on the table. There are 3 entry points in the proposal. The community partner tier sits at KES 550,000.
Right.
The strategic partner is KES 1.2 million. And then there is the exclusive presenting partner at the KES 2.5 million mark. Interestingly, for a telco, that top tier allows for a flexible split of KES 2 million in cash and KES 500,000 in kind.
Which is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, it creates a direct avenue for Safaricom to integrate data bundles, SMS campaigns, or even connectivity solutions right as part of the sponsorship structure.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the operational timeline in this deck dictates a very strict window for decision-making. Phase 1, which involves the promotional and content shoot, is firmly scheduled for July 31st.
That's coming up really fast.
Extremely fast. From a purely strategic standpoint, if a brand wants their logos, data integrations, and messaging organically baked into those 50-plus digital assets from day one, well, the partnership has to be locked in before the cameras roll.
Right, because once production begins, that foundational integration window just closes.
Exactly.
So finalizing a decision before that July 31st deadline is really the only way to secure a position as a founding partner. It's the difference between being woven into the DNA of a recurring cultural property versus just, slapping a logo on a flyer after the fact.
And this raises an important question. We're seeing how these micro-influencer ecosystems are increasingly defining youth culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if the 16 to 35 demographic continues to shift away from traditional advertising and moves toward these hyperlocal, decentralized trust networks, how will legacy brands need to adapt their internal metrics to accurately value community integration over sheer billboard visibility?